From the crossroads of entertainment and culture, to the stories that move the streets and shake the box office. This is Blues Nightly News, the world of movies, music, comics, and culture, the way it really is.
Yep. My levels is good. My levels is good. My levels is good. What up, man? What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? House gang, how y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Who in the building? Q in the building. What is good? What's good? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, they moved that over there. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is Blues News. Blues News. You know who I am, man. I am Bluminati. Tonight is Thursday night. You know what I'm saying? This is where movies, TV, music, and black culture all meet in the same lane. You know how we get down. I am your host, Blue, man. Tonight, we got to talk about something big. It's happening. Big. That's happening in Hollywood. Something that could potentially reshape the future of DC Studios, the DC universe, as we know it. It could. Because Warner Brothers Discovery, you know, that company that owns DC might actually be sold. It might actually, it's on the auction block right now. It might actually be sold. You know what I'm saying? Not merged like it was the last time. Sold, not restructured. Sold. Sold. And depending on who buys them, the DCU might either stay on track, get cut in half, or get rebooted for the 50-11th time. So yeah, man, and at the center of all this chaos, you know, we got James Gunn, Peter Safran. Will they stay? Will they go? Will the new owners intervene? Will they put the DCU on ice? So yeah, tonight we're gonna break all that down, man. No fluff, just real industry mechanics behind the headlines, go up underneath the hood and things of that nature, man. You know what I'm saying? Before we get into it, I see we got Hunter Iggy is in the building. He says, Blue, have you heard of new live action? No, okay. So and then Q says it's the last Ronin. So what am I before we get into it? From my understanding, is the last Ronin has been put on ice, and now they're going to be pushing a full Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action with all four, not the last Ronin. That's what I hear. I'm probably gonna go over that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I will go over that tomorrow. So because it seems like y'all want to talk about that. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So yeah. Pam in the building. What up, Pamela? Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Pam? But yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's break this thing down. WB being sold, and why it's a huge deal, man. Why is it a huge deal? All right, well, first let's set this stage, man. We got Warner Brothers Pictures. Oh, I'm sorry, Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD. And they're the parent company of a lot of things. You got Warner Brothers Pictures, you have DC Studios, got HBO Max, you got Cartoon Network, CNN, TNT, TBS. You also got tons of films and its TV libraries, right? So you have that. So if this company gets sold, it's not like selling a single studio. It's selling like this massive ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? And DC is just one branch. DC is just one branch on that giant conglomerate corporate tree that's going on. You know what I'm saying? But the kicker is DC might be, well, now DC is one of the most valuable branches, right? DC will be one of the most valuable branches. And not just because of movies, but you got merch, you got the animation, you got gaming, you have the theme park licensing, global distribution. So anybody buying WB is going to have big decisions to make when it comes to who controls the future of DC, and that's what we're here to talk about, man. So, and with that, that means James Gunn's entire long-term plan, the Gods and Monsters slate, right? Superman 1, 2, 3, etc. The Authority, Creature Commandos, Lanterns, all that becomes subject to new ownership, right? Some buyers would support him, others may not, right? Now, that's cool. Who could buy WB and why each buyer changes DC's future? You know what I'm saying? Because depending on who buys WB, depending who gets WB, would depend on what's going on with DC, right? And so we got to talk these potential buyers. Each one creates a different DCU timeline for the, you know what I'm saying? And we're dealing with the multiverse right now, you know what I'm saying? So let's start with who everybody's talking about right now, Paramount Skydance. So if Paramount Skydance or that type of entity, if those buyers, I would say they wouldn't want to blow up the system. I don't think Paramount Skydance wants to blow up the system. They may want to streamline it, but I don't think they want to blow it up. Because to me, it just don't make no sense. So the pros of Paramount coming in. Now, they usually respect established creative leadership. You know what I'm saying? If somebody like Paramount come in, they're gonna respect established creative leadership. They're not gonna want bad PR, right? They're not gonna want bad PR from canceling franchises. That's one thing that could really hurt them. You know what I'm saying? DC has been rebooted. You know what I'm saying? Already, it's already been rebooted already. And this would be the first time it's probably had the most. Well, Zack Snyder had a nice linear story to tell, but that was, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been rebooted. But they also understand that power of big IPs like a Batman, a Superman, and Wonder Woman. They understand these things. So I don't know if they want to rock the boat on that side. You know what I'm saying? That would be the pros of a Paramount Skydance company coming in, right? Now the cons to that would be that they will come in and want to cut costs. That's just off rip. They're gonna come in and see whether they can get that knife out and start carving. You know what I'm saying? Budgets for non-templated projects could shrink. So the budgets could shrink. You know what I'm saying? Experimental DCU projects could get delayed. So and the thing is, when I say they usually respect established creative leadership, that means they won't get rid of Gunn, but they will put a leash on Gunn. Right? With that being said, so anything experimental, anything that they might not necessarily deem would make money, they cutting that shit, right? They're gonna tell Peter Safran and James Gunn, we not doing Sergeant Rock, bro. We don't believe in Sergeant Rock. We're not doing some Mr. Miracle. We're not doing Mr. Miracle. We don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Could be something like that. So those are the pros and cons of a Paramount Skydance style buyer to come in. I don't personally think. Well, I think Paramount would be bad if they got it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think they will come in and destroy what James Gunn has built. I think they keep it going as long as it's making money. I think they keep it going. Now let's talk about a streamer. Let's talk about Netflix, because we know Netflix is in the pot, right? Netflix, or Apple, or Amazon, a streamer, a tech giant. If they want to buy WBD, right? This would be like a wild card, because I don't even know if Netflix, I think they put their bid in only because why not? So I don't even know if they're a real player or not, but let's break it down anyway. The pros. They love franchise content. We know Netflix, Amazon, they would love to get their hands on just the content of WB. Think about the IPs that WB have over there. Not just DC, just think of everything that Warner Brothers has over there, right? And they would market the hell out of DC. Think of what I want to say Netflix got what 300 million subscribers at any point in time. Do you know the reach that would do for DC? The global distribution will become instantaneous with Netflix. Instantaneous, right? Instantaneous. Those are just some of the pros. Those are some of the pros. Let's get into the cons of a streamer. The cons of a streamer. They might push DC to streaming first. Never nothing theatrical. Just straight streaming. Would that be good or bad? I don't know. I don't know. With that being said, they could restructure theatrical windows. And this just has nothing to do with DC. That's just with the Warner Brothers IP and franchises and things that they have over there, period. Restructure how the, you know what I'm saying? Whether it goes to the movies or not, Netflix already does not like playing in the theatrical sandbox, the playpen over there. So, you know, and I can see them most definitely installing their own executives above Gunn or pushing Gunn out, right? Because all streamers really care about is the data. The data. They don't care about multi-generational narratives and arcs and really trying to keep the Snyderverse alive or trying to keep DCU or DCE. They don't care about that. They just gonna look at the data. What does the data say? Right? What does the data say? Is it feasible? Does it make me money to bring the Snyderverse back? Okay, we'll do it. Does it make me money and is it feasible to keep James Gunn around? Okay, we'll do it. As per the data, as they say. Right? So Gunn could stay. He could most definitely stay if it's come on, focus back. Why did I go out of focus? he could most definitely stay, but he'll be at the mercy of the algorithm. And I don't think no creative wants to be at the mercy of the algorithm. They just don't. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it moving. Let's get into Comcast, Universal. Comcast, Universal, if they merge with WB, which I think to me this would be the best outcome. Me personally, I think the best outcome would be to merge with Comcast, Universal. It will create a absolute monster. A monster. It'll be Godzilla type situation now, right? Because we already got Disney with the Godzilla type situation. This would give Warner Brothers that big up that it probably needs to really go toe to toe with a Disney, right? With the Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Universal, they know how to run tempos. They know how to do these big franchises. They know how to do it. That's how they get down. They got, you know what I'm saying? They do that. This is what we do. Bring it over here. We got y'all. They could integrate DC into the theme parks, right? Universal Studios. Imagine the DC side of things at a Universal Studios. Because I think right now, I think DC is at Six Flags or something like that. Some of the Six Flags rides. I know you got a Superman, Batman, at least in Atlanta you do. I think they license DC. So now Universal Studios wouldn't even have to license DC. It'd be their property. They would own it and can just make a DC land. And you know what I'm saying? The same way that Universal got all these other things, they'll be able to do that right there at Universal. Do you know how much money that would bring in? Because now I don't have to pay to license DC. I just do it. That's money on top of money. Without the movies. Because that's the thing that really keeps Marvel afloat if you really think about it, is they got other branches that branch out outside of the movies that really keep these things alive. You know what I'm saying? Plus their marketing is top tier. The machine that they got over there to market things, top tier, creme de la creme, homie. They got that. They got that over there. So they would be able to market James Gunn's DCU the best way possible, or DC the best way possible. They got that. Right? They would do that. So, like I said, Gunn would stay on as a creative, as a consultant. Not necessarily, he doesn't necessarily have to be the architect of a 10-year plan, but he stay over there and run things. And these big companies, when they come in, they don't just automatically want to get rid of James Gunn. Like I'm trying to tell y'all right now, whoever buys it is not just going to be like, all right, Gunn, you got to go, Snyder, come on. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Not going to happen. That's, or at least the probability of that happening is very, very low. Very low. Now, the worst of the worst that could probably happen is if a private equity firm or something like that comes in, because they will come in and break up the company. They're going to come in and just basically sell Warner Brothers off for parts. You know what I'm saying? This would be the worst scenario. This would be a nightmare scenario. There are no pros to this. If you're a Warner Brothers fan, there are no pros. No pros. Only cons. Only cons. Only cons. They don't care about the storytelling. They're not going to care about James Gunn. They're not going to care about DC. They're not going to care about anything that Warner Brothers has going on. They want profit now. So when they come in, they're going to want to profit. They want to go, they're going to want to see their books go directly into the black as soon as they buy. So if they bought it, like I said, they're going to sell it for scrap. The cuts will be very aggressive. Very aggressive. I'm talking about they trimming fat left and right. Left and right. And then they could end up selling DC separately. It could end up going to anybody at that point. DC could end up going to anybody who got money. Paramount might not. Would Paramount even want a DC? Would, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Would Disney buy it? I don't know. All creative plans to get paused or canceled. So anything. So we're talking DC stuff. James Gunn, whatever he got going, pause, cancel. Matt Reeves Batman not coming out. Pause, cancel. What they got? The Monster Universe with Godzilla and all that. Pause, cancel. Dune, pause, cancel. Like all that stuff will be in limbo. In limbo. In limbo. So we don't want a private equity firm to come in because they won't have no creative duty whatsoever to make anything continue. Right? Nothing. I'm gonna pause real quick because I see a question. Hunter, what up? Hunter says, Blue, quick question. If Comcast or Paramount buys WBD, why can't they license Zack Snyder's version off to Saudis because they want the Zack Snyder? I think that's a rumor. I don't think the Saudis want a Zack Snyder. You know what I'm saying? It is a good question. And nothing would stop. They can license that over there if they want to, right? They can do that. But why license it when they could just do it on their own? Like if Paramount gets it, they don't need to license it over to the Saudis. They could just say, hey, Zach, come on, let's do whatever. They don't have to license it. They can foot the bill themselves. You know what I'm saying? No need to license it over there. They can get a production company or they can distribute through, because normally Warner Brothers was working real heavily with Legendary to do a lot of their movies as far as producing and distribution and stuff like that. So maybe something like that if Saudi's got some kind of production company or distribution company, but they don't necessarily have to license anything over there to get Zack Snyder's version. Just call Zack back and say, hey, we're going to let you do, you know what I'm saying? We're going to let you finish your story. And like I said, and the way that you asked this, I like that you asked that question, because Zack Snyder, I'm not saying that Zack Snyder can't come back and do a version, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that they won't just get rid of James Gunn. Right now, we got Matt Reeves, who got his own version of DC stuff that he does with the Batman and the Batman 2, Penguin. You know what I'm saying? So Zack can come back. Zack can come back. But no. And no, Six, I'm not taking the Saudis serious. Don't think that I'm taking the Saudis. No. I'm just reporting on this stuff. I'm not taking the Saudis serious. I'm taking the sale of WB serious. The Saudis, not so much. Because there's the reach, and what I was telling was the Plastic Man reach was the Zack Snyder situation. That's the Plastic Man reach. Because everybody think that they just gonna kick James Gunn to the curb, and it's way more difficult to just kick him to the curb and bring Zack Snyder in. The post that you showed me, it led to whack ass Cosmic Circus talking about Henry Cavill said he's back, and Ben Affleck say he's back, Gal Gadot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm like, I call bullshit on that. Get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. You know? But let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So with all of those sales, we briefly touched on it, but what would really happen to James Gunn and Peter Safran if those sales happen? Right? If those sales happen. Hold on. I want to say quick question. If Comcast and Paramount want competition with Marvel, use Gunn and Zack Snyder universe as a 1-2 punch. You can get. I'm not opposed. I think a lot of people think I'm opposed to Zack Snyder coming back. But I'm not opposed to Zack Snyder coming back. I'm just talking about the legal aspect and how much money it will cost to buy out a James Gunn, to buy out a Peter Safran, all the contracts that's in place, all the things that's already been filmed, like I said, all the contracts that's been signed. That's you saying it's a lot of talk. That's all it is talk. I'm talking about actual tangible things. Actual tangible things. Gunn could sue. Peter Safran could sue. Like, it's now you open yourself up to lawsuits that I don't think necessarily Paramount, Universal, or anybody will want to go through. Why not just see James Gunn through? You know what I'm saying? Because it would make no sense. James Gunn hasn't flopped. He hasn't failed in doing what he's done. The financial landscape has changed, and he has rode that wave and made a profitable movie. Peacemaker did what it was supposed to do. So why, if I'm coming in, that's like I come in and I got a winning coach, and then I just fired the winning coach. Why would I fire a winning coach when I buy the team? Like, why would I do that? I might as well at least let his you know what I'm saying? I ride his contract. The Lakers just sold. They haven't fired JJ Redick. JJ's still the coach. Lakers is under new ownership, right? It don't make sense when you're winning. Now, if James Gunn was failing and had flop after flop after flop, yeah, they'd be like, all right, Gunn, you know, it was cool. It was cool, but you know, you got to go. It ain't justifying Peacemaker, man. It did what it was supposed to do. It did what it was supposed to do. What the thing is, what y'all are saying, calling it trash or whatever, right? Those things are not. There's no tangible way for you to just say that it's trash. James Gunn could say, hey, Peacemaker charted on Nielsen. It did what it did. It got the people to watch it. I got the people to watch. The minutes is there. It did what it was supposed to do. That's it. That is it. Like I said, he ain't flopped yet. He ain't flopped yet. But let's keep it going. Like I said, what would happen if Peter Safran, or what would happen to James Gunn and Peter Safran if these things happen, man? We know that they currently run the DC studios. They have near total creative control. So that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? They're crafting a decade-long plan. We know that. It's interconnected films and TV shows, multi-platinum universe, which also includes animation and games. But new ownership could change some things, like we talked about. It could change some things. Scenario A, which I think is the most likely scenario if a new owner shows up. Hollywood buyers know fans hate instability, right? Fans hate for things to just be brand new every time, change it. They don't like that. They know rebooting DC for, like I said, the 700th time is bad PR. It ain't good. It ain't good to do that. Keeping Gunn there would bring the consistency. It'll bring a tone, a roadmap, a unified brand. So they know that keeping Gunn would be the path to least existence, least resistance, right? Keeping Gunn would be a path of least resistance. But he could get smaller budgets, more profit first notes, fewer risk-taking titles like I talked about, more pressure to deliver quickly, all that coloring outside of the lines. We got to reel you in, homie. So that near creative control that you have now you just have some creative control, right? Just some. You won't have this super duper all the time. You can just create what you want. No, sir. No, ma'am. Right? That's scenario A, which I think is the most likely. If somebody comes in and buy it, that would be the most likely. Scenario B. This is also very likely. But I think A is the most likely, but this is also very likely. They stay, but they lose that creative control, autonomy. They lose it all together. All together. Hey, James, do your Superman trilogy or whatever, but tone down the weird creature stuff. We don't want to see that. I'm cutting your budgets by 20% and stop introducing new characters we don't have merch deals for. We don't have merch deals for Sergeant Rock. I don't have merch deals for Vigilante. I ain't got merch deals for Clayface. The Authority. I ain't got merch deals for the Authority. I don't have merch deals for none of them, man. So quit doing the weird characters that we don't have merch deals for. But this scenario that I'm talking about does not fire Gunn. Like I said, it takes their creative autonomy and either shrinks it down or strips it. Right? That's scenario B. That's scenario Bravo. Let's get into scenario Charlie, scenario C. They're replaced. Now it's not impossible. Like I said, it's not impossible. It would be stupid. Financially, I think it would be stupid. But it could happen. They actually could be replaced. Especially if the buyer wants their own executives, right? Or if they want somebody with a pure blockbuster resume. Hate to say it, that is not Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder does not have a pure blockbuster resume. He doesn't. He's got some good movies. He's made some money. He's lost, you know what I'm saying? But he's lost a lot in the box office. He's lost a lot in the box office. would the buyer want to reboot DC again? If the buyer wants to reboot DC again, then we can see, hey, Gunn, go ahead, man. Matter of fact, I brought boxes in for you. I got some movers. They gonna move your stuff out of here. You know, we'll see what's up with the contract. We'll renegotiate or we'll buy out your contract. Have a nice day. Right? That could be something too. Could be. But I think this is the timeline. This is the scenario that I don't think the fans want to see. I don't think majority of the fans want to see Gunn gone. I think there is a loud minority, right? I do think people have, you know, some trepidations when it comes to Gunn because he might talk to the people too much, might slip a couple of white lines or whoppers out there, you know what I'm saying? But all in all, Gunn being as transparent as he is, I think actually helps. I think so. I could be wrong, but I think it actually helps. And I'm gonna get to y'all comments in a minute. I see y'all got some good stuff in the comments. I'm gonna get to y'all in a second. So yeah, those are the scenarios. He stays, they let him rock. He stays, they cut his creative control drastically, or they replace him all out. Replace them, I should say, because we keep talking like it's just James Gunn and Peter Safran. Peter Safran's track record at Warner Brothers is immaculate. That's another thing too. Peter Safran's track record with Warner Brothers as a producer is immaculate. I just want to throw that out there. Just want to throw that out there. So with the new buyer, what projects would get saved? Which ones would get cut? Right? Let's break that down. Let's break that down for a second. So the projects that would be safe, and I'm not necessarily going to go into the detail of what projects would be safe, but the type of project that would be safe. So if the project is already filming, it's probably going to be safe. Say that the safe bet is going to be safe. Projects with marketing budgets already set, safe. High profile tent poles, big massive movies like a Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow, safe, right? Batman related projects, you know they gonna survive. So the Batman 2 is coming out. Brave and the Bold, if that's already in the can, ready to go, it's happening. It's happening. Lanterns, which is a high value IP. For the most part, I would say that's a safe bet. So those things, type of projects that I just named, probably safe. More than not, they're safe. Projects that could be in danger, right? High concept, low audience risk projects. Animation with uncertain return on interest. Projects with long development cycles. Anything that's not tied to a Superman, a Batman, a Wonder Woman, an Aquaman, the Holy Trinity, the Justice League, if they're not tied to anything like that, they're going overboard. Going overboard. So that would mean Sergeant Rock, not happening. The Jimmy Olsen Show, not happening. We know those two ain't happening. Mr. Miracle, that's an uncertain ROI. I don't know if we get a return off investment in that. I don't know. That's probably would get canked. Right? Anything with a long development cycle. Do we get a Wonder Woman? What he wanted to do? Paradise Lost. Do we get a Paradise Lost? It's been in the works for a long time. They probably come in and say, yank, yank, we cutting that. Hey, Jimmy, that ain't going forward, bro. Nah, cuz, get that out of here. You've been sitting on that too long. Study long, study wrong, baby. That's got to go. Then you got projects that could be merged or reworked, retooled, things of that nature. Creature Commandos. It's already come out, so they could merge it or rework it. The Authority could be reworked, merged. Booster Gold. Been a lot of talk with that. I think they actually put some money into that already. Could be reworked, could be merged. Supergirl. Now, I wouldn't necessarily add Supergirl to the list because Supergirl has already been filmed. Unless they talk about continuing the IP, I would say that would be in the safe portion for me. Supergirl would be safe for me. Now, would it get a sequel? That would be, yet to be determined. That would be TBD. But, those things could survive in a different form. Could survive in a different form. Now let's talk about streaming. Once, if the buyer comes in, what happens with streaming? HBO Max, what I'm saying? What would happen? What would be the corporate strategy for those things? Come on, camera. So if the buyer is a streamer, like I said, a Netflix or something like that, DC content moves towards strictly digital. If it's a Netflix, if it's a streamer, DC content moves towards digital, probably 100%. And yes, the price will go up. If it's a traditional studio, a Paramount, a Universal, the theatrical window is expanded. We get that into the theaters because they're a traditional studio, right? They're going to be putting it into the theaters. If we get a cost cutter, somebody who just wants to come in and just cut costs, HBO Max or Max, it gets consolidated or reduced down to nothing. If we get a tech company, an Apple, an Amazon, right? We know that data drives things over there. So data would drive whatever the decision would be for DC. What's the data? What's the data on it? Run the numbers. What do the numbers say? That's all you'll be getting when it comes to making decisions for DC. They would run the numbers on Peter Safran and James Gunn. They would run those numbers. What do the numbers say for Peter Safran, James Gunn? What do the numbers say for Zack Snyder? What do the numbers say for Christopher Nolan? What do the numbers say for anybody, Spike Lee, whoever? A lot of DCU content depends on Max being a stable platform. So you want whoever's buying it to keep Max. HBO has been around for the decades now. What, maybe at least 50 years, maybe I would say. HBO has been around. I mean, at least my whole life, I've known HBO to have been around. So I at least give it 45 years that HBO has been around. That is a stable thing. You want to keep that. I don't think you would want to rebrand it. It's been rebranded twice already. I don't think you want to do that. I don't think you want to absorb it. I don't think you want to shrink it down. That might be one of their best assets that they have over there, is when it comes to streaming, is HBO Max and HBO. Those are the things you want to keep. DC's long-term TV plans, they get scrambled, right? That's going to get scrambled regardless. That's gonna get scrambled. Whatever the TV plans is, I think that will be subject to change depending on who the buyer is, no matter what. No matter what. Now let's get into what I'm talking about when it comes to the James Gunn being fired, bringing in Zack Snyder, and why that necessarily could cause some ripples, some repercussions, right? The talent, the actors, the directors, they all got contracts, and with the when doing something like that, you have fallout, contract fallout. So when this happens, or let me say it like this: actors have clauses, directors have clauses. James Gunn and Peter Safran, as the CEO, co-CEOs of DCU, they have clauses. So when a sale happens, it triggers contract negotiations, exit clauses, pay or play payments, delays impacting actor schedules. This is where if you play it the wrong way, DC could lose major stars if they sense instability. When you come in and play fast and loose like that, nobody will want to work with you. That's another thing. Stamina Six just said contracts mean nothing. They mean everything in that world. They mean everything, because not only are you supposed to be loyal to whatever the contract is, if I know that you're just playing fast and loose with the contract, Hollywood is small, man. Hollywood is small, man. Christopher Nolan, which was probably their biggest director that they had over there at that point in time, when Discovery came in with the Warner Brothers and bought it and went did the day and date streaming situation, Chris Nolan packed up his bags and left. Because they played fast and loose with the contract over there. Scarlett Johansson, they played fast and loose with her contract. She sued. Disney had to pay up that money. Big business is not different, Six. Big business is not. The reason big business is because of contracts. Is because of contracts. Like I say, Hollywood is small, man. It's built on relationships. Relationships are those contracts. If you do right by me and my contract, I'll continue working with me. Or I will continue working with you, I should say. Do right by me and my contract, I continue working. You don't do right, I can, you know what I'm saying? Y'all fire me or whatever. A lot of people leave out this door. Other people won't come into the door. Contracts mean a lot. Don't just think contracts don't mean nothing, because they do. That's how the business runs. Can you do some things, you know what I'm saying, operate outside of contracts for certain things? Yeah. But remember, it's a two-party system. It's the business, like you say, the big business, and then it's me. Right? And I don't have to sue you to win. I'm gonna just sue you to make you look bad. And if I make you look bad and nobody wants to work with you because they now know how you did me, then yeah. Because this won't be no swept under the rug situation. This will not be a, you know what I'm saying? If let's say they come in and they play fast and loose with James Gunn and Peter Safran's contract. That's gonna be all over every trade. It's gonna be on every corner in Hollywood. From Burbank to Compton. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to Anaheim. It's gonna be ringing bells over there. New York, Atlanta, wherever Warner Brothers or wherever whoever bought Warner Brothers does business, it's gonna ring off over there. It's gonna ring off. Bad PR can kill movies, can kill IP, all of that. So no, you want to come in and have a smooth transition as much as possible. Smooth transition. The reason Warner Brothers is in the predicament it is in now is because they didn't have the smoothest of transitions when they merged with Discovery. Then they had to bring Zaslav in, and he had to go, you know what I'm saying, and make some business decisions. But yes, they are bleeding right now like stamina. Who was that? Who said that? That it shouldn't be celebrated. I'm with you. Perp, I'm with you. It shouldn't be. It is. It shouldn't be. I would say this. I don't necessarily think it should be sold. I think they should do what their original plan is. Their original plan was to spin off a couple of things, try to sell off some debt and keep it pushing. Right? I don't think it got into anybody's head until Paramount said is on this buy. Well, not Paramount. Skydance is on this buying spree, and they only want to buy it to control the media. They don't necessarily want to buy it to use. See, y'all think they want to buy it to use DC. This is for Scott, to me. I could be 100% wrong. Could be 100% wrong. David Ellison, the Ellison Group, Skydance, they want to buy it to control the media. This has nothing to do with the IP or nothing. They want to control the media that they have. This is more political based. Because if I just bought Paramount, because that's another thing too. That's another thing too. You know what I'm saying? Paramount, the bad thing of a Paramount, Skydance Paramount buying it is what's called, I think it's called the two drunks holding each other up scenario. I think I was reading about that. Paramount, Skydance buying Paramount, they have not shown any since, and I'm not saying that they won't be profitable, but that they got to build that money back up, right? So they're hemorrhaging too because they just bought Paramount. Skydance is him. They just bought Paramount. Now you want to come in and buy Warner Brothers, which is in debt out the wazoo, and they want to buy the whole thing. That's the two drunks holding each other up scenario. Eventually, it's going to fall. It's going to fail. It's going to fall. It's going to fail. Two drunks holding up each other. What do you think happens when two drunks hold each other up? So no, I'm right there with you, Perp. This should not be celebrated. But since it's on the table, we got to break it down. That's it. It's on the table. We got to break it down. Got to break it down. So what should we be looking for next? We know they did the first rounds today, so to speak. We'll see how deep they go or what's going on with that. So what we're watching for, we're going to watch. If we want to see which way DC is going, you got to watch who's going to win the bid, right? That's first first and foremost, you got to watch and see who's going to win the bid. Netflix, Paramount, Skydance, Universal, they all have would all have different roadmaps for DC and Warner Brothers. Different roadmaps. We got to see and listen to what they say about creative leadership. So in their talking points, and what we believe them when they do talk, their creative leadership. If they praise Gunn, his stability, that would be stability. If they avoid mentioning him, he's probably in trouble, right? If they don't say nothing about James Gunn, they might be, you know what I'm saying, trying to get him out of here. Immediate layoffs or restructuring. That means turbulence is coming. If they immediately lay off and start restructuring, be on the lookout. Two drunks, especially like I said, if it's Paramount. Two drunks. Which DC projects could get delayed or moved. That means the release calendar would change. New strategy. That means they would change these release dates, which would mean Gunn or whoever is heading up DC now to be a new strategy. New strategy. Talent and behavior on social media. So we got to watch what's going on social media when it comes to them. If it starts to get quiet or cryptic, nobody says anything, that means something is probably going on behind the scenes, right? So we know James Gunn is a chatty patty. He loves talking. If he gets quiet, could mean one of two things. Either they telling him to hit the road, or he's being quiet so they won't tell him to hit the road. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Let me see what y'all comments is real quick before we wrap it up. Where did I leave off at? Let me see. It's a lot of people in the building. Rain, what up? Let me see what Rain said. And y'all been on it. Well, let me get Q first. Q says, just reading between the lines, it seems like the talkative Gunn going from Gods and Monsters to Superman saga and now the world of a cell. Sometimes logic is disregarded. Yes and no. I kind of hear what you're saying, but I don't think logic would be disregarded in this. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? When Zaz came in, it didn't seem logical to cancel and can project, but then they slowly became profitable. They became profitable because they had to bandage the hemorrhaging, right? Certain things he knew. Why did they do that to Batgirl? Hey, I need that money. I need it as a tax write-off. I don't know how profitable it's going to be. Plus, I don't think he could. If it was up to him, I think he would have canceled every DCEU movie he could. I think he would have canceled every DCEU movie he could. But he knew they was already made. He knew he couldn't sit on it because when you sit on a movie, you're basically just hemorrhaging money. Batgirl, Looney Tunes joint. Let's write these off and see how much money we can get off of it with the write-off, and let's go for it. Right? And hope for the best. But you're right. I don't think a lot of people saw that, but look at the time it took. And also, it ain't like he's under, you know what I'm saying? In hindsight, it seemed like he did a good job, but if he did that much of a good job, why is Warner Brothers for sale? Why is it for sale? If he did that good of a job, why is it for sale? Why is it for sale? Dan the Man, what up, Dan the Man? He says Zaslav and Gunn saved us from a dying universe. You absolutely right. Absolutely right. Wait, Blue Gun has been transparent. Where they do that at? That motherfucker been lying. Hey, I said he was transparent and he lied. When I say transparent, meaning he just talk. He has been transparent because he talks to us. He tells us what's going on. That don't mean he ain't lied. Feige lied. They all lie. They all try to throw you off the trail. No, that ain't coming. Next thing you know, it's coming. Or next thing you know, somebody's fired or hired. They do that. That's what they do. Is it a big enough lie for me to look at him like, man, that motherfucker a liar? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Rain says Snyder was more profitable overseas than Nolan. And I don't believe Nolan wants to run a whole studio. Gunn's first film wasn't profitable. History shows Batman is the #1 lead of DC. What you mean Gunn's first DC film? As him being the studio head was, Superman was profitable. Everybody's come out and said that Superman was profitable. So Rain says Reeves' verse has already outdone Gunn with one film each, Batman, Superman. Yes. Batman. Now, this is what I will say, Rain. Batman is always going to be way more profitable than Superman. Superman is not Superman's live action is never profitability with Superman as a live action thing is not great. It's never been great. Superman has never been like a live action darling when it comes to putting into movies. It's never been that. It's made money, but to exceed expectation, it's never been that. Never been that. That's just history just proves that. You can go back and look at all the stuff. Superman is very popular, but it's not very financially it's not the money maker that we kind of look at due to popularity. Blue, if it was Paramount or Comcast, I would resign them for 2 more decades. Oh, I would resign. Oh, you say resign. Yeah, because it makes sense. I mean, like I said, as a coming in, buying a team, and the coach is a winning coach, you don't get rid of that coach. You just don't. That's not necessarily true. Batgirl was in a can and got wrote off as a tax loss. I forgot what I was talking about, but yes, Batgirl did get wrote off, but but the reason behind it was to help. You say no Batgirl, but if it caught good word of mouth, you probably would have a ticket in the popcorn bucket. Oh, you talking to Dan? Okay. Rain say ain't no telling Blue. Whoever buys is going to want to do what they want simply because they can, and they put in bids for a reason. You are absolutely true. Once you buy something and it's yours, you can do absolutely what you want to with it. But this is what I will say, which a lot of people, I think they don't understand when it comes to publicly traded companies. All of these companies are publicly traded, which means I can go buy stock, you can go buy stock. We will actually be owners with them. Now, we won't be decision-making owners, but we'll be owners with them. They are beholden to their shareholders. If the shareholders say this is not what we want, and they start selling them shares, and them shares start going down, or if they make it known, that the shareholders make it be known at the shareholder meeting, and I go to a lot of the majority of the shareholder meetings I go to are the Disney shareholder meetings. So that's why I have I ain't gonna say I have a lot of info on what's going on at Marvel, but and Disney, but you hear what the people say, and you hear what the head honchos over there have to say, right? And you kind of infer from there which way they want to lean. So if they do something that the shareholders don't like, that's bad. That's bad. And if they lie to the shareholders can actually sue them and actually take control of the company. It's a lot of stuff, man. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of stuff. You can't just come play fast and loose because it's a lot of stuff that goes on that a lot of people don't understand. It's a lot of stuff that goes on. A lot of stuff. Let's see. What up, Stamina? Rain says, I have the Reeves verse running as a more comic booky Batman. Bat Family and Gray and Blue Batman is running in continuity with the rest of the universe. You think Reeves verse is more of a comic booky Batman? I don't think so. I don't think, not especially not of late. Not of late. I don't think so. 6 a serious question. What if y'all look up and Gal's bony self is back? Y'all want look, I don't know why y'all want the Snyderverse. I don't know why y'all want that back so bad. It was dope while it lasted. It was dope while it lasted. What if Snyder come back and just drop the biggest turd and just, you know what I'm saying, really kill his Justice League legacy? Then what? I think he should stay put doing what he's doing. Turn it up over there at Netflix. Rain said Gunn is too unserious. He's too much of a nerd to where a lot of his ideas won't be profitable, or his first film, Superman. It was profitable, Rain. Superman was profitable. It made money. The Booster Gold is going to be trash if the goofy dude from Eternals is him. I don't know if it is him, but Booster Gold, I wouldn't do a movie for Booster Gold. I just wouldn't. It'd be maybe a TV show, streaming, something like that. I wouldn't do a movie. That's the reason Lanterns has been pushed back too. I could see that. I could see the sale being the reason that they push Lanterns back. Nolan as producer, Zach as a director, and Gunn as on a leash to write. Nolan as a producer. You talking about for like running the studio? Like Nolan can come in as a producer, that's cool. But you got, like I said, Peter Safran ain't going nowhere. His track record is too deep. Peter Safran, the reason WB is still probably afloat is probably because of Peter Safran. He ain't going nowhere. So Nolan will have to compete jobs with Peter Safran. If y'all think getting Jimmy out of here, cool. Because Jimmy ain't no producer. He's just a director. He really just talent anyway. Cool. Peter Safran is the real thing you would have to worry about. That's the real thing you have to worry about. All right, Rain. Peace, man. Peace, peace, peace. Hot toys on fire. Caveat, let all three contribute to the writing. Can't give Gunn 100% control over script. Absolutely not. That's the problem now. Y'all do not like Gunn, huh? What did Gunn do to y'all, man? 72 is when HBO. So yeah, HBO been around since 72. So that's 11 years older. I was born in 83. So yeah, it was out already 11 years out. Let's see. Whomever has the money long enough to buy WB don't care about the few coins and any buyouts. Contracts have always loopholes, always subject to be voided. Loopholes and voided. Loopholes, yes. Voided, no. Voided, no. To be voided, it's got to be like a real big reason to be voided. It can't just be, oh, we're gonna void it. Nah. Nope. See what else? Let me go down to the bottom. Buck in the building. Buck. Who actually wants Snyder back? It was dope, but he played himself. We didn't play him. WB played Gunn. WB played him. Gunn played him. Let's go, folks. 6. I just think you just want anarchy. That's what I think, man. You just want anarchy. When you buy something, you want to keep players until you catch the ropes. So Gunn will be fine, and all other directors, crews, backroom rats, even a security guard. And that's the most likely scenario, Jay. That's really it in the can. You're not going to come in and just kick the CEO of DC out the building. You're just not doing that. Just not doing that. Yeah, I could see them cleaning up for a sale. But also, like I said, that don't necessarily mean Zaslav did necessarily a good job. He did just a good enough job and remember, that's not even the first thing he wanted to do. The first thing he wanted to do was just spin off some stuff and get rid of some debt. Remember that. The Flash was a sunk cost. Aquaman 2, they still probably could have, but they had too much faith in it after 184 and Shazam dumpster. I agree. I don't know how many that they can put on the chopping block for tax write-offs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the legalese behind that would be, but I'm with you. A lot of like I said, I would have killed. I'm pretty sure Zaslav would have loved to just kill all that stuff that really meant nothing and didn't have no profitability, because none of that had no profitability. None of it. This will be the last one. Then I got to wrap it up. Blue, I believe David Zaslav will re-sign James Gunn and Peter Safran after the sale. Yeah, that's another thing too. Zaslav ain't going nowhere. So Zaslav will still run Warner Brothers. So whoever buys Warner Brothers, Zaslav will still be the head, and he will still have the reins. He will still control on the things underneath Warner Brothers, as the deal that he just did, you know what I'm saying, to do that. He's getting ahead of the sale already. So I don't see, with him being the guy in charge, because Zaslav will still be in charge of Warner Brothers, he ain't getting rid of James Gunn that easy. Now, like I said, bringing Zack Snyder in to do a cartoon to wrap things up, or maybe give him a TV show to wrap things up. Yeah. But like I said, it's a lot of moving parts of that. You got to get Henry Cavill back. You got to get Ben Affleck. You got to get all these actors back to do that. And it's just not that easy, because even though Six say contracts don't matter, contracts do matter. Contracts matter. If I got a contract with such and such, and I got to go film over here, Gal Gadot got to go film over there. Ben Affleck is doing this. He got a contract. They can't just void those contracts and say, "Hey, look, man, Zack Snyder called. I got to." When Snyder calls, I'm there. Like, you can't just do that. If I hired you, Henry, you gonna finish this movie or whatever TV show we're doing. We're gonna finish that. And give a damn about what Zack called up. We finna finish this shit. So, you know what I mean? But that's the breakdown, man. That is the breakdown. The sale of Warner Brothers Discovery could be the biggest shakeup DC has seen, right, since the AT&T disaster. But it don't automatically mean that it's gonna be failure. It does not mean that. And it doesn't automatically mean that James Gunn is out. It does not automatically mean that James Gunn is out. What it does mean is the future of the DCU is now in the hands of whoever buys this parent company. You know what I'm saying? And really, that's it. But as always, please tap in. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. In the comments, if you rewatching, who do you think? Who do you trust most with DC? Let me know. Do you trust Netflix? Do you trust Universal? Do you trust Paramount? You let me know. Drop that in the comments down below. I'm Blue. This is Blues News. I will catch y'all on the next one, man. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. And like that there, y'all take it easy. Be safe. Yeah.
This concludes today's broadcast from Blues News. We hope you enjoyed tonight's programming and the time we've shared together.
Right. Always be about being authentic. Drop like that. Drop to what it was March, so that we added to the slate on the strength of an exception. So I think it's confident. I think that
Blues News is dedicated to bringing you the very best in pop culture, music, and conversation, serving viewers everywhere, every day. On behalf of our staff and crew, we thank you for watching. We'll return tomorrow with more entertainment, insight, and fun for the whole house gang. Good night and good luck.